Hi, if you are new to free motion quilting or if you are wanting to learn how to free motion quilt, I have some tips for you. So just bear with me a little bit, and these are some of the things you need to know if you are wanting to learn or if you're a very beginner. So I'm going to turn my camera around here. Sewing machine set up here. And I just want you to know that on your sewing machine, if you are a free motion quilter or want to be, you've got to have a free motion foot, some kind of hopping foot. Read your manual. Every machine is different, so yours may not look like mine. So just do whatever your manual says for your machine. Also, you'll need a speed control. Now, the speed control is very important for a new free motion quilter. Now, if you move your speed control towards the right, it speeds up as you're quilting. If you move it towards the left, it slows the motion of the needle down as you're quilting. I always suggest that you put your your speed right about there, more towards the slower side. So start out slow when you're a beginner. Also, your feed dogs need to be up. Now, on my particular machine, I know that my feed dogs are down. I'm sorry, your feed dogs need to be down. So on my machine, I know they are down because I've got my free motion foot on my screen. I have a little button off to the side of my machine, and if I click it, there we go. Now I know my feed dogs are up. This is for regular sewing, not free motion. So when you're free motion, you can move your quilt any direction on your surface here to get the stitch that you want to get. Another thing, if you are wanting to learn to free motion quilt, is a needle down position. So on my machine right here, I have a needle down position, and I push this. Right now my needle is in the needle up position. I don't know if you can see that, but it's in the needle up position. I'm going to push my needle down position button, and my needle will go down. And that's where you want your needle when you're free motion quilting. So when you're quilting along and you stop, I'm going to try to stitch here. I'm going to stitch a straight line. So I'm going to move the quilt, and when I stop, my needle ends up in the needle down position. So that allows me to keep the needle in position where I want it and be able to move my hands and adjust the quilt how I want it as I'm quilting. So that's one of the very important features that I think every machine should have, but sometimes they don't. So we have to kind of work with it, work around it. And it can be done without one, so it's not something you have to have. Also, I have a small, you can see the small quilt here. It is sandwiched. It is a top, a batting, and a backing. And this is what you want to practice on. You want to practice on something small like that. And start with straight lines. And as the needle moves, I'm pushing that quilt through. The feed dogs are not pushing my quilt through. I'm pushing it through with my hand. I can also go backwards by pulling the quilt towards me. I can go sideways by pulling the quilt sideways, pull it the other way. I'm doing all this with one hand, so see, you can go any direction. I can do a circle. That's what free motion is about. You can make any kind of motif you want to. You can see here, I was practicing a little bit of feathers over here, but it takes practice to learn how to do those. First of all, what you want to do is you want to get the rhythm of your machine going. Listen to your machine. Start with those straight lines. Listen to your machine, and you want the nice even stitches. So if your machine sounds like this, well, that sounded pretty even. I'm going to try to do it again. So if it sounds like you're going real fast and you're barely moving your quilt, you're getting tiny stitches. So I had the pedal all the way down because on my speed control, it's not going to go any faster than what I have my speed control set at. So if I go very slow and I move fast, whoops, let me see, very slow and I move fast, I'm getting long basting stitches. So it's something you need to practice, and practice on just a sandwich like this.